In the Pasha of Bamidbar that we read this coming Shabbos, before the Yom Tov of Shavuos, we encounter a very fascinating census that the Torah tells us. Su'u es Rosh kol adas b'nei Yisrael l'mishpechosam l'veis avosam b'mispar shemos kol zachar l'gul galosam. And as Rashi comments, that Hashem is constantly counting Klal Yisrael mitoch chibasam, because of the love that Hashem has for Am Yisrael. When we left Egypt, He counted us. When there was the tragedy, the debacle of the Chet HaEgel, again we were counted to know how many were left. And when the time for Hashras Hashchina came, Hashem counted us. B'yechad b'Nisan, Hukav HaMishkan, B'yechad b'Iyar, Minom. So here again we have another count. However, the Torah tells us that this count has several prerequisites. Mi ben esrim shana v'mala kol yotzei tzava b'Yisrael. Tifkudu osam b'tzivosam atav v'yarom. The base age is the age of 20. Why that age? The Torah tells us the age when they are capable of joining the army, capable of becoming soldiers. At that point, they're worthy of being counted. And the Torah describes the heads of the Shvatim who are designated to overview and oversee this particular count. And then the Torah proceeds to list the different Shvatim and the population, and finally it sums it up in the following psukim. And the Sach HaKol was and suddenly the Torah tells us that there was a tribe that was not counted. They were not included in the count of Klal Yisrael. And immediately upon the heels of that, the Torah tells us that Hashem told Moshe, Aches matei Levi lo sivkod, v'es rosham lo sisa b'sof b'nei Yisrael. They apparently are a tribe, a shevet, that has a separate function and that are counted separately. And the Torah goes on to describe the particular functioning of the Levim. They're going to carry the Mishkan and all the Klei Mishkan, and they will service, they'll minister to the Mishkan, and they will encamp around the Mishkan. And the Torah tells us that when the Mishkan is in transit, as it were, they will be the ones responsible for taking apart the Mishkan and once again putting it back together. So, in effect, we see that the Levium were not counted, and yet the Torah again stresses a bit later, they were not counted among Klal Yisrael. So we are taken aback that a few psukim later, Hashem tells Moshe in Perek Gimel, Pasuk Yud Gimel, Yudalad and Tesvav rather, Pekodes b'nei Levi, Leveis Avosam v'Shechalsam, they also should be counted. But here, strikingly enough, what is the base age for counting the Shevet Levi? Yibet Chodesh v'Amalo Tivkedei. They are counted for the age of 1 month. And the question that is quite evident, why is there a distinction between Shevet Levi, who is counted from the age of Ben Chodesh v'Amalo, and the rest of Klal Yisrael, who are counted Ben Esrim Shana v'Amalo? The answer seems fairly evident in light of the definition of the functioning of Shevet Levi, and I was lucky to hear this from Marina Harav Hagoyin Rabban Soloveitchik Alevi Zechatzalik V'Kol Shivrocha decades ago. He commented on the two different functions of Shevet Levi and the rest of Klal Yisrael. And he actually defined it in light of another famous Rambam. The Rambam writes in Hilchos Beis Abchira, the Gemara has a discussion whether Kedusha Rishona, Kitchel L'Shaita, Kitchel L'Asanavo. We passed in the first Kedusha, that was, Eretz Yisrael was sanctified, but that Kedusha was rendered null and void by the conquest of Nebuchadnezzar, the Kibush, and Nebuchadnezzar undid and negated that Kedusha. The Gemara also has a Machlokes, whether Kedusha Shnia, Kitchel L'Shaita, Kitchel L'Asanavo. But the Rambam has a famous distinction between Kedusha Rishona and Kedusha Shnia. Even though Kedusha Rishona says the Rambam was rendered null and void, But when was that relevant? L'gabe Eretz Yisrael. But l'gabe the Beis Hamikdash and Yerushalayim, which is an extension of Mikdash, even Kedusha Rishona was Chal. Took effect. Why is that so? Because the Mishnah writes in Megillah, Vashimos is B'Kedusheichem, even though it seems the Makom HaMikdash is Shomein, B'Kedushasan Ein Omnin, the Kedusha remains. Kedusha cannot be negated, Kedusha cannot be undone, and Kedusha can reside even among debris, and Kedusha reside even among destruction. There's still a possibility of Kedusha. So the Rambam says that regarding the Beis Hamikdash and Yerushalayim, that Kedusha of Kedusha Rishona remains. However, regarding the rest of Eretz Yisrael, that Kedusha was batel and had to be once again reinstated and reinstated by the Kedusha Shniya of Kitchel Hashaita and Kitchel Hasubavo. The Rambam then asks, why is there a distinction between Mikdash and Yerushalayim, where the Kedusha remains from the original Kedusha and the rest of Eretz Yisrael? And the Rambam answers with the following very salient, significant answer. The Kedusha of Mikdash and Yerushalayim was based on Shechina and Betela. The Kedusha of the rest of Eretz Yisrael was based on Kibush, based on conquest. Conquest can quickly be undone by someone else engaging in conquest who negates the original conquest. And therefore the Kedusha Rishon of Eretz Yisrael was batel because of the Kibush of Nebuchadnezzar. The Kedusha of Yerushalayim is based on Chazaka, or based on Nochus HaShechina, Shuras HaShechina, that cannot be rendered null and void. Rabban Soloveitchik extrapolated from there to the distinction between the two functionings of Shevet Levi as opposed to the rest of Klal Yisrael. The rest of Klal Yisrael, what is their function? Kibush. We're obligated to engage in conquest. V'haraya, the Torah says, what is the base age? What is the age that the Torah speaks of in terms of the count? Miben esim shana v'mala, kol yotzei tzava b'Yisrael. Whoever is capable of joining the military, whoever is capable of being a soldier, with the valor of the soldier has to muster, such a person can be counted among Klal Yisrael. However, Shevet Levi has a totally different function. Their function is not a function of kibush, but rather a function of maintaining the spiritual stature and stamina of Am Yisrael. That's that function. That function begins from Allah. Once a person is a bar kayama, as the Gemara says in Shabbos, once a person is a viable entity, at that moment the Shevet Levi is counted. But that's what the Torah stresses. The Aches Mate Levi Lo Sivko V'Es Roshim Lo Sisa B'Sof B'nai Yisrael. Because their function is a markedly different nature. Their function is a kind of chazaka, not kibush. Their function is a kind of spiritual function, and that we see later as well, when the Torah defines actually, at the end of Sefer Dvarim, the role of Shevet Levi, and this was pointed out by Rabbi Yossi Dov HaLevi Soloveitchik Zatzal many, many times. The Torah, when it speaks of Shevet Levi, one would have thought their primary function was working in the Beis Hamikdash. One sees from the Seder HaPsukim that's not the case. The Torah says in V'zos HaBracha the following: Yoru Mishpatecha LeYaakov V'Sarascha LeYisrael. Their primary function is to teach Torah. Their primary function is to spread and disseminate the Or HaTorah. Yoru Mishpatecha LeYaakov. They were members of the Sanhedrin, as the Psukim indicate, and the Rambam writes this in Mishnah Torah as well. Secondarily, the Torah says, Yosimuk Torah v'yapecha v'chol ha'mizbechecha. They have a secondary function, namely, Haktaras Haktaras, the Avot in the Beis Hamikdash, but that is not their primary function. Their primary function was the function of teaching Torah, disseminating Torah, and in fact, they were the ones who were responsible for maintaining the tone and tenor of the spiritual stature of Am Yisrael. Therefore, they are counted Ben Chodesh Ramallah. Rabban HaLevi Soloveitchik Zatzal extended this as well to another distinction he felt in general between men and women. Men, he said, their primary function is that of kibush. That's why men are obligated in the mitzvah pruvu. The Gemara says in Yevamos that pruvu middle arts the kivshua is a din in kibush. Darka shalish lichbosh vein darka shalish lichbosh. That's not her function. The primary function of a woman is to set the tone in the house. Beso zu ishto. A woman actually is the one who introduces into her home the warmth. As Soloveitchik said a number of times, the laws of Shabbos were taught to him by his father, but the warmth of Shabbos and the beauty of Shabbos were taught to him by his mother. This is then the hesped for the Talmud Rebbetzin. So here we have several individuals. A man versus a woman. A man's function is kibush. A woman's primary function is to set the spiritual tone and tenor of the home. Beso Zuishto, to create a warmth, an environment which is religiously and solidly grounded. Similarly, the Torah distinguishes between Shevet Levi, that's counted by the Chodesh Ramallah. Their primary function is to bring about the dissemination of Torah, Hashras Hashchina. Hashanah, the rest of Klal Yisrael, our function is that of Kibush, and that explains why the rest of Klal Yisrael are counted Ben Esem Shalom Ramallah, Yotzei Tzolov Yisrael. Obviously, all of us have been, us, even those who are not Leviim, also we're involved primarily in Kibush, but also have an obligation to be akin to Shevet Levi, and to also bring about Hashras Hashchina, Alavai, that this coming Yom Tov, Kabbalah Satera, Zman Matan Torah Seinu, we should be Zocheh to do both, to engage in both Kibush and Chiluk, or Kibush and Chazaka, or Kibush and Hashras Hashchina, and Be'ez Hashem is brought be Zocheh to be Mekabel Matan Torah with great simcha, great joy, as befitting Klal Yisrael.